So, in a sense, building a culture of peace needs to outreach to many different kinds of groups, doesn't it? To build a culture of peace, then you need women, you need business people, you need academics, you need politicians, religious leaders. All of these have very important roles to play. So this is why we have this kind of structure of these different organizations, even though it becomes an acronym soup. You have so many acronyms. But at the same time, it's very important to structure outreach and activities. Anyway, I could talk more another time, but building peace requires some kind of structure like this. And I really appreciate former UN Secretary General's Ban Ki-moon, his talking about that we need this multi-sectoral approach. And that's why during the year we try to have a range of events, have at least one event in each of these areas. So we're very lucky to have our patron, Duchess Nevin of Al-Gamal, who's here despite having an operation recently. So we're praying for a quick recovery. But she's going to give some words of welcome and greetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Distinguished guests, peace journey colleagues, and fellow peace builders. It is an honor to be with you here in London at the UPF headquarters, celebrating 79th World Peace Day. The urgent problem we face are poverty, climate change, conflict, and inequality. It can indeed be solved, but to do so, we must commit not only to dialogues, but to bold, decisive actions. My message is simple. Collaborate locally, think globally. Every nation, every individual has the power to contribute to a more peaceful and just world. We must invest in the pillars of education, sustainability, and diplomacy. There is the foundation of a lasting peace. For a lasting peace. At this critical moment, we must make bold decisions that strengthen our principle of equality, inclusion, and cooperation, as we all are one. We need to protect our planet and ensure justice for all. As we gather here today, let us reflect on the 79th session of the World Peace Day and ask ourselves, will we be able to look back and say that we choose peace over division, action over delay, life over death? The future is in our hands, and the time to act is now. But for us, to truly achieve peace, we must always find peace within ourselves. As I remind my students and children, we should free ourselves from being swayed by praise or discouraged by criticism. There are only reflections of other views projecting onto us. Both are merely a reflection of each person's own views of themselves projecting onto others. The choice is ours to make. We all, as peace servants, should have strong principles about honesty and integrity, which is admirable. Standing up for our peace and truth and being willing to confront dishonesty head-on, showing strength of our beliefs in peace. My message reflects a clear boundary that we should value honesty and respect, and that we are not afraid to challenge those who disturb our peace with negativity or fake behavior. Staying true to ourselves while setting these boundaries is essential for maintaining personal growth and inner calm. Keep following your path, and those who value authenticity will naturally resonate with your energy. Myself, I'm a bold person, and I don't accept two-faced behavior. I'm gifted from God and sense when someone isn't being genuine, which is why I tend to avoid people who seek to control or disturb my peace. I believe we should all embrace manners and be true to ourselves. If someone is faking reality, I won't hesitate to call it out. Just remember, if rudeness is invited, it is often from the other side first, merely a reflection of each other's own views of themselves projected onto others. Don't let other opinion influence your journey, and let us, in this moment, reflect what is truly right. Take a deep breath and choose peace. For ourselves, for each other, and for the generation to come. Let's aim to create a more peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. Please, peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Duchess Niven. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite Ian Palm-Turner. He's a former BBC royal journalist. For a long time, he used to be a photographer and interviewer of royal family, members of the royal family. But he's been a broadcaster for decades and still continue with broadcasting. We're going to hear from him on Zoom. Could we connect?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can't see you at the moment. Just 1 second. Oh, there's Ian. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening. And good evening, audience, as well. Can I thank Robin, first of all, and UPF for actually allowing me to speak on this subject, because it's a subject very close to my heart. As Robin was saying, these days I work with TV channels right across the world. And part of what I try to teach and preach is peace, because I think it's very, very important.
Recording in progress.
And I think the reality at the moment is I'm very much aware of, for example, the situation happening in Lebanon as we speak. Last year, I was part of a delegation in the early part of the year to actually go to Lebanon to actually set up a peace TV channel, which unfortunately never happened. But at the same time, then I met different people, government ministers, people who are responsible for Lebanon today. And they took me to their heart. So that was a very important, I think, first sight into the Lebanese issues that they faced. But also, I was then taken to meet Hezbollah, because it was very important for people like myself to meet all factions of Hezbollah as well, and of the Lebanese community. And so when I was taken around Beirut to start off with, for example, Beirut is really a city of two parts. Part of the city is very wealthy, part of the city is in ruins. And it was in ruins really from 2020, when there was a massive explosion in the docks of Beirut itself, and it killed 3,000 people in one day. And it was said then that a military force had caused this to actually happen, but has never been proven. And then when I went to meet Hezbollah, it really touched my heart at the same time, because I went to an enclave where there's 20,000 people in one enclave. And basically, I was asked then to have lunch with them as well. And this table was laden with food. And then I discovered, and about 20 or 30 people within the family had all come to meet me at the same time. And Daisy Gideon, who is really another peace ambassador and a broadcaster in Beirut as we speak. And then it turned out that they hadn't eaten for 3 days so that they could put food on the table for me. So you can imagine how much that helped, really gave me such an insight into the kindness and what people really in Lebanon really want at the same time. And probably the biggest memory of this whole thing was that there was a 14-year-old girl as part of the family, and she'd been learning English. So she wanted to try and test her English on at the same time. And basically, so I said, well, what do you want to do in life? What is your dream? And she said, I want to become an airline pilot. And I looked into her face and I looked into her eyes, and there was this dream. Now, that is the type of dream that peace can bring, that prosperity can bring. Now, when you look at Lebanon as a case in point, the average wage in Lebanon for an adult is $20 a month. And so when I listen to sort of, what the concerns are, a bottle of water can cost up to $7, just a normal bottle of water. So that there's a lot of issues that we can look across the world. And another thing that I think is very important these days, I'm a big feminist as well, as ladies hopefully in the audience will understand. I think if we had more women in power, I think the world would be a more peaceful place anyway. But that's perhaps my sort of take on the subject. And I think it's very, very important nowadays that when I'm reporting, and I work, as I say, with major channels right across the world. One is a Sky channel that has a 1 billion audience across the world. I work in America quite a bit, and I work in places like India, Africa, and so forth as well. I think it's very, very important for us always constantly to remember messaging is very, very important as well. In other words, trying to find a way forward that brings people together. I talk a lot, obviously, because of my royal family broadcast connections. I talk about the royal family at the same time, and how I want to try and bring peace to them as well. So peace is a very, very important part of my life, but in reality, it's a very, very important part of the world at the same time, and how we bring peace to this world. Now, with UPF on board, obviously, then there's tremendous, huge amounts of opportunities to actually talk about this and bring peace at the same time. I think peace and prosperity is really what this world needs. And sometimes I castigate politicians when they start really sort of fighting against each other or fighting one party against another. In my world at the moment, I think all people want in this world is to have a level playing field, opportunities and peace at the same time. And so how I work in that way is that I try to help as many communities as I can on my TV shows. I try to look at different aspects of how to see their lives and how to make them feel visible. I think one of the biggest problems that we face at the moment in Britain with young people especially, and we see today again about all these terrible knives that they sort of carry around with them right now. And I think when I talk to young people and I meet them at UPF as well, some of the events at the same time, I think it's very important to actually realize and recognize that they need to have more visibility. Because when I talked, and I was saying a little while ago at UPF, a lot of them said, we just are invisible. And they actually were surprised that I actually came to the event to meet them. And I think it's very important, when we want to create a peaceful world, a peaceful future. They are our future. And to give them the type of help and support that is necessary to actually make them feel that they have a future as well is important at the same time. So I think, when we look at peace, it's how do you explain peace to people that seem to be constantly with fear? And again, I go back to Lebanon at the moment. And my colleague, I contacted her the other day just to make sure she was still alive, and she's one of these outstanding journalists who fights and to tell the truth at the same time. And when I listen to what she's saying right now, that you can almost see the fear for her as well, messaging that she is sending to me just to sort of say, please try and do what you can to actually talk about what is going on at the moment in that area. And when I look at, as I say, all these conflicts around the world at the moment, I look at Russia, for example. Now, I worked quite a bit in Russia during perestroika. And when I met the Russian people, they were wonderful people. They were absolutely, they would give you anything that they could. That was the nature of the people. And that is the nature, I think, I hope for people around the world who actually nowadays, all we want to do is have a positive, peaceful, happy life. And so I hope that when this message goes out to them in different formats that UPF gives, that they realize that people do care. Journalists care, broadcasters care, TV channels care, UPF cares as well, that there is a positive, happy future for people. And I really wish everybody peace in my life. I'm very lucky, total peaceful life these days. I'm 73 years old. I still enjoy working every single day that I can in television, talking about these issues. And I hope that, talking about something like this just might touch a nerve at the moment on how on earth can we create peace in this world. And I really do thank Robin today and UPF for actually allowing me just to give a few thoughts about what I feel is really necessary right now to bring peace and happiness, prosperity, to bring level playing fields for men and women especially as well, and create the future that we all hope to see. Thank you for listening.
So I feel like Ian is someone who feels very deeply about many issues, but particularly about peace. And he's seen many suffering situations. So who's passionate about peace here? I think everyone is, right? That's why we're here. That's why you've come here this evening. And I think Hilda Rapp is our next speaker. And she's also someone who's very passionate about peace. We have a program called Ambassadors for Peace in UPF. And Hilda has been an ambassador for peace for a long time. We'll ask Lorna to tell us about being an ambassador for peace when she speaks a little bit later. But Hilda is part of the Center for International Peace Building, and is the co-director of the Center for International Peace.
I'm the director. I've never kind of changed my card for years and years
Right.
and years, because it doesn't matter, because it's all about co.
Sure.
As far as I'm concerned, if there's not a partnership, it's not worth doing, because, on your own, you don't really get anywhere. And it's about dialogue. But anyway.
And we used to, Hilda was here for a long time, many times coming to Lancaster Gate. And then when we used to contact her after that, she was in the Solomon Islands or many places in the Pacific Islands. But your amazing life. Please welcome Hilda Rapp.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. And it's an honor and a pleasure to be with you. And I feel that all the things I wanted to say have been said already. So I have a speech, and I even cut it in half because I thought there wasn't enough time for everybody to speak for very long. So I've now closed my phone and said, actually, I don't think I'm going to need to say anything that isn't my phone. So I'm just going to kind of share a few thoughts with you. I had a conversation with Timothy before we came in, and I think you were going to speak? Yes. Good. So I'm not going to say anything about what you're doing, except that it is, I think, where the action is, with young people, and with young people who are being drawn into violence, and who are not heard and not listened to. And unless we start really taking our children seriously and giving them the tools to learn how to make good decisions for their life, to learn how to deal with conflict, to learn how to have respect for difference and diversity, the world will become a very, very dark place. And I'm very pleased to say that Margaret, and particularly Margaret and Robin, have a lot of programs for young people to kind of go out into the world and to try themselves, to make decisions, to make a difference, and to help others in the process. And last time I came, there was a young man who was part of a youth project, and it's changed his life, a UPF youth project. And I remember going with you to the Dominican Republic, where we went right into the countryside, and there were young people building a school with their teachers, because there was no money. They had computers that were hand-cranked. And we got the Indian Institute for Technology to deliver a kind of camp-based bottling plant so that they could process their fruit and vegetables. And the Ministry of Agriculture was helping them to grow organic food, which they could then bottle and take to the market. Because before, the traders would come and take their produce away for £1. Or the equivalent thereof, a big sack of mangoes or something. And this was completely unjust and unsustainable. So that's the sort of practical things that the young people have got involved in. But when we ask ourselves, what are these values that these young people are actually inspired by? It is exactly what you've been talking about, Lady Niven. It's about respect. It's about self-respect, it's about honesty, it's about the willingness to challenge, it's about the willingness to stand up for what you believe in, which I started when I was a little child because I didn't know better. I didn't know you weren't supposed to speak out. I just sort of say, this is wrong, and this is what you should do. And I was 6 years old, and somebody listened and did it, and I thought, my God, and so that sort of set me on the path of saying, well, I can make a difference, even though I'm a little person. And I think, that's what wants to be instilled in children. And that was actually what the culture of peace was about originally, was to make sure that young people really understood about the key values that drive human society. And Margaret set up a program which I think is key to this, which is to work for the equality of women. And you have your group every month of women who learn how to speak out for themselves and become entrepreneurs. And I remember visiting young women entrepreneurs in Africa and in New York on fantastic projects, because they are often also then the mothers of the children, and they have the duty to make sure that their boys learn that actually their sisters have equal right and value. And if that's not changed, if there is no kind of change in the family about what it means to be a man and a woman in today's world, and if the patterns of patriarchy are rolled out persistently, we will not actually get to a place where children learn how to be responsible for themselves and to go into the world and think about what are we doing to our environment. We heard a lot about the Sustainable Development Goals and the need to have a completely different approach to how we use things, how we reuse things, how we don't destroy the world in our very noble attempt to satisfy the Sustainable Development Goals and have everybody have something to eat on the table. But if we don't produce this in a sustainable way, we will basically exceed the footprint of our globe in no time at all. But if we learn how to actually do what people used to do in times of scarcity and need, which is to be much more modest in what we take from the world and much more generous in what we give back to the world, we won't have a future. And I think we need to get away from adversarial arguments, pitting people against each other, the climate activists against, the entrepreneurs, because we're actually all in this together. And we need to stop othering each other and saying, you're wrong, you're right. We all have something to contribute, and that came out very clearly in the previous talks, and I don't need to repeat it. So each one of you has an opportunity in your walk of life, and I'm sure you're all here precisely because you use this opportunity to make a difference. And many of you will have Ambassador of Peace Awards precisely because you've taken the responsibility you've been given, if you believe in God, by God, to make a difference in this world, a positive difference, very seriously, and you do things, and you help other people make good decisions. And I thank you for that. For me, that's peace building. And I'll stop there. Thank you.
Another person who's been an ambassador for peace for a long time, and has been a great friend for a long time, is former mayor of Waltham Forest and long-time councillor. He's finished now, but he used to be the co-chair of the Global Peace Festival, where we held some major festivals in Imperial College and Excel. And he was the co-chair, and a lot of responsibility there. I'd like to invite up former councillor and mayor, Liaquat Ali. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening to all, and it's great being here. First of all, I would like to thank Robin and Margaret for inviting me here on such a subject. Today, as you know, we gathered here to commemorate International Peace Day, a day dedicated to the pursuit of peace, a day to reflect on the value of harmony, a day to recognize our shared responsibility in fostering a world free from conflict and violence. Peace is not merely an association of war, it is the presence of injustice, justice, understanding, and compassion. And we celebrate this day. Let us remember that peace begins with ourselves. It starts with our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Each of us has the power to contribute to a culture of peace in our homes, our communities, and beyond. In a world often fraught with division and strife, let us choose to be peacemakers. Let us embrace dialogue over discord, understanding over hatred, and cooperation over competition. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, creates ripples of change that can transform lives. Today, we are here to honor those who have dedicated their lives in pursuit of peace, activists, whether diplomats, and everybody, individuals who have stood up against injustice. Their courage reminds us that peace is not a positive, passive state. It requires an active engagement and involving commitment. As we look around our global community, we see that many are still suffering from consequence of conflict, and we must not turn a blind eye to those in need. Instead, let us extend our hands and hearts towards peace and make sure that those are affected by war, displacement, and violence, together we can build bridges and understand and create pathways towards reconciliation. Let us also remember our responsibility towards future generations. It is our duty to nurture a world where our children can thrive in peace, education, empathy, and dialogue, and essential tools in the endeavor by fostering a culture of understanding today and pave the way for a brighter future. And certainly on this International Peace Day, let us also commit ourselves to the ideals of peace. Let us strive to the change we wish to see in the world. Together we can create a global tapestry woven with threads of understanding, compassion, and love. And it's really important, all the work, I really want to thank UPF for doing that, since I've been involved quite a long while, since 2007, at peace, whether it's through, working together in other aspects, when I went to South Korea, Brazil, Holland, and obviously big conferences of global peace here, co-global, and all this initiative does certainly help to bring peace. I certainly invite each of you to reflect on how you can contribute to peace in your daily lives. Remember, peace is not a distant dream, it is a choice we can make every day. Thank you.
So thank you very much. I think we're getting a number of perspectives. And later on, we'll ask you all to, anyone who wants to come up and give their inspirations, to come up and contribute to this evening. I'd like to invite Mr. Aurangzeb Akbar, who's a very keen ambassador for peace. He's always nominating others to receive an Ambassador for Peace Award, and really is very supportive of our activities. We're very grateful. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa tu'izzu man tasha wa tuzillu man tasha. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and let me congratulate you this Peace Day today, which brought all of us together here. But the thing is, I really did not prepare any of special speech today because I'm not feeling peace. We are humankind, and whenever I go my home, I see my kids. When I hug them, I feel the pain directly in my heart. Why? Because of what's happening today in these Muslim countries, especially in Palestine. And last night, they also brutally attacked on Lebanon as well. Can't see the pieces of the kids. Where is this United Nations? Those are basically pretending they are champions of the peace, but they do not nothing. They do not doing anything for the humankind. Even they are sporting. Whenever I wanted to say something, I also don't want it to be like them. The words come from the heart. And I also don't like to come always on the stage, but whenever I come, I speak truth because I have courage. why we can't request our this United Nation, because our this UPF, Universal Peace Federation, also relate to the United Nations. Which money they are going to, are they always spending on the ammunitions? They always create the wars in between of many of the countries. Is this United Nation? Is he alive? No, they are sleeping. Previously, this is ISIS. They wanted to finish the ISIS, but nobody knows where they went. How many people they were? 1,000, 2,000, 4,000? But the world's top most powerful countries and their armies attack on them. They destroyed the Syria, they destroyed the Iraq, they destroyed the Egypt, they destroyed the Afghanistan. More than 25 years they spent in the Afghanistan. What they had? Nothing in hand except the dust, and they're killing millions of the humans over there. My just request, please, 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 spend this money to build the universities, schools, spend on the educations, hospitals, health, agricultural. Make people's life easy, rather than you are killing the people. But I don't want to take a long time. Just wanted to request my Secretary General, who is a really very big mentor for me. I learned how to be peaceful. I'm really very aggressive person. Wherever I go, I show my aggression. Sometimes I also, ask myself why this happened. My mom told me that you was born in the war, 1971. That's why you are like that. I learned how to be peaceful from my lovely Mr. Robin Marsh, and I accept this. UPF is like my family, where I can, explain my thoughts, and I always brought the right personalities. Those people are really, deserving to the UPF, and rather than have to giving the many speeches, so I always work and like to work beyond the scene. So just wanted to request to Mr. Robin Marsh and our lovely great Margaret that we have to sign one of the resolution to the United Nations to stop Israel against attacking to the Palestine, stop killing the innocent Muslim all over the world, and stop changing the regime all over the world. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we need all kinds of characters to contribute to peace. Sometimes if you're just like me, everything would become very quiet or peaceful or bland, and people would get away with murder. So we need Aurangzeb to speak straight sometimes, which is great. But also, there is so much suffering in the world. It needs to empower us without burning us out. So somehow we need to balance within our life the passion to do something to make a difference, but also to take care of ourselves, to be able to continue. Because if you just keep on pouring your passion out, I know Sheikh Ramzi is one person who's really pouring, but somehow also you need to take care of yourself to be able to continue. Next, I was going to invite Mr. Timothy John Baptiste, who's a co-founder of Time for Peace and for Peace. And he's a very passionate person as well, but I think a very joyful person when I see you. And I think particularly you're a teacher and you used to inspire students and pupils about peace. So we'd like to share some of your inspiration. Please come up and share it with us. Thank you.
Where do I start? Good evening. Guests, dignitaries, kings, queens. Thank you very much, Robin and Margaret, and also Universal Peace Federation. I would like to start really by just saying, you know, looking at everybody here is my brother and my sister. And that's why I teach my young people in school. I've been teaching for the last 15 years. And I teach them, everybody around you are your brother and your sister. And if you could start with that approach, you treat your brother and your sister in a peaceful manner. Now, again, I've not written anything. I'm a person, I'll sit down and whatever comes to mind, I just say it. But I'll just step back. 15 years ago, I was at an event, personal development event, and a young lady left the event and went outside on a peace march. And I looked and I thought, what's she going on the peace march for? You're not going to retain, you're not going to benefit from going on the peace march. And she came back and she shared what she did. And on that day I thought to myself, well, hold on. If you don't get up and do something, it's always going to be the same, right? So I took it on 15 years ago to go out there and to be the change. I hear it, be the change you used to want to see in the world and all that. And I've realized that, but do people actually take notice of it? And I've realized I'm going to take notice of it. And my approach, I'm going to use with as many people as I can, and hopefully they'll take it on board and they'll start to influence change in the world. Now, we look at the words up there. How many times do you see peace up there? Several times, right? So I don't know where to start, but there's lots of dimensions to me. But I look at the word peace, and the acronym that I've created for peace, people first. Whether you're good, bad, whether you're in poverty, whether you're rich, whether you've got neighbors, whatever, people come first. And I teach the children, put the people first. E, equality. We must start to treat each other equally, okay? A, I teach them, is to accept. We need to accept each other for who we are. Whether you're tall, whether you're short, whether you're from a Muslim group, whether you're from a fascist group, we need to treat each other. We need to accept each other, okay? So people, equality, acceptance. C is the key word. We don't communicate. We need to communicate. Unless you communicate, I've been in situations where people look at you, no communication, just look at the color of my skin, the way I talk, whatever, and without any form of communication, that person hates me or dislikes me. Why? Let's sit down and have a communication. Let's have a discussion. I teach the children people, equality, acceptance, communicate, and E, the last one, we'll learn to embrace each other. And this is what I teach my young people. Now, I've come up with an idea, a concept that I was blessed with, and I love this approach to my heart and my soul and my core. If you look on the board, and I sat down here, 2024 is up there, right? This symbol means peace to many, many people. So my first approach is, here is the world behind us with 8 billion people. And I simply just ask everywhere I go, just 2 simple questions. The first one being is, would you like the world to be peaceful? And many people will answer yes. But then I ask the second question. Rather than on the world stage, let's narrow it down to just one individual person out of 8 billion people. And then I ask the second question. And that question simply is, are you at peace in your world? And when I say that, a lot of the young people that I work with will say, yes, sir, I am. Some would say, well, no, not really. But then I say, if you're not at peace in your small world and you'd like the world to be peaceful, how is that ever going to happen? So using the 2 peace symbol and one I've created, the 4, simple number 4. I want to use the number 4 and connect everybody around the world. That's the one thing, well, there's a few things that we have in common, but one thing I'm using, 4 o'clock I teach my students, is peacetime. And if at 4 o'clock you can look and think, who could I make peace with in my world? And if I was to reach out and simply make peace with the next door neighbor, or boy at the school, my mum, my dad, if I, one person, reached out and did that transaction with somebody else at that moment in time, I say to them, we'd have just contributed to the world being a more peaceful place. So the 4 levels I work on is, firstly, I need to be at peace with myself. If I'm not at peace with myself, I'm never going to find peace. There's never going to be a peace outside of me. The second one is, I say, be at peace with your family. And that is your brother, your sister, your aunts, your uncles, your whole family network. And the third, where you live, be at peace with your neighbors. And the fourth one is when you leave your home and you go out to your community, your world, be at peace on those 4 levels. And if you're not, and you can find the power within yourself to make peace with the person that you're not at peace with, it's so difficult for the world to be peaceful, but it's so hard for us to make peace with people next to us. But which one is easier? The easier way is to reach out to the person that you're not at peace with. But I teach my youngsters, if you can do that, you would have made their world more peaceful, your world also becomes more peaceful, and the world that we all share just becomes a little bit more peaceful. And that's what I promote to my young people. So they call me the peace man, which I love it, and they do this to me. Now, I know in some countries this is not a symbol that's used. I understand that, but let's use the other one. So time for world peace, which one I created 14, 15 years ago. This one, let's call that one, well, time to make peace. So at 2 o'clock you could make peace, or 4 o'clock you make peace. I teach my people wherever I go, wherever time you choose to make peace, it doesn't matter. Just do something. Empower yourself, make a difference, and go out into the world. We all want peace. But how are we going to achieve it? As you were saying earlier on, all of the wars and the atrocities around the world, sometimes I just feel like giving up. I'm really being honest. When I turn on the TV and listen to what's going on to my brothers and sisters around the world, I think, how can I make a difference? But you know what? I will just keep on knocking on doors, making a difference, creating communities around the world where we are teaching our young people, the next generation, a new approach to peace. If you want the world to be peaceful, you start by simply making your world peaceful. And by connecting us at a point in time, I teach them at a point in time, 4 o'clock, you and I will be thinking the exact same thing. It's time for world peace. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. So we have to remember at 4 o'clock. I'd like to invite Lorna Mara to come up. Lorna is the CEO and founder of Ribia Consulting, leadership expert, and transformation business consultant. But what I like is she's volunteered so much to support Margaret and help UPF to develop. But she's very passionate about the branding of an ambassador for peace and what it means to be an ambassador for peace, someone who's really contributing to making this world more peaceful. So please welcome Lorna.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we gather not only to commemorate Peace Day, but also to celebrate the enduring power of humanity, to move towards a world where peace is not just the ideal, but a lived reality. In recent years, we have witnessed a remarkable growth in the global and local peace movements, catalyzed by collective efforts from every corner of the world. These movements transcend borders, beliefs, and backgrounds, united by a shared vision, a world free from violence, inequality, and suffering. At the heart of this movement, which is UPF, is the recognition that peace is not just the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice, respect, and compassion. This broader understanding of peace is what fuels my own work, both locally and globally. I know I've spoken a lot about peace, but today I want to lead by example and say what I do as a way of encouraging everybody to make a difference, if that's all right with you. Thank you. So, I have dedicated much of my time to teaching youth and adults the vital importance of emotional intelligence and diversity, a skill that is indispensable in creating understanding, reducing conflict, and fostering deep empathy. When we nurture emotional intelligence and diversity, individuals, we equip them with tools to appreciate diversity and to see differences not as a threat, but as strength. I have also the privilege of working with Margaret and UPF to create safe spaces for women, recognizing the peace cannot be achieved in societies where women and girls live in fear. By focusing on eradicating violence against women and girls, we are laying a foundation for a more just and peaceful world. We know that violence, especially gender-based violence, is a systematic issue that hinders progress and destabilizes communities. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that women and girls not only survive this, but thrive, free from the fear of violence. My work in advocating for the safety and dignity of women aligns my role as a global peace ambassador for UPF and as an ambassador for Stop Trafficking UK. Human trafficking is one of the most heinous crimes of our times, and it is exacerbated by the effects of conflict and instability. Conflict creates the conditions where the most vulnerable, often women and children, are exploited, trafficked, and robbed of their humanity. As an advocate, I'm committed to shining a light on this hidden crime and pushing for solutions that prevent trafficking and protect its victims. It is impossible to overstate the profound impact that conflict has on our world. When nations are at war, when communities are torn apart by violence, when most vulnerable pay the heaviest price. It is these moments of crisis that we must arise with greater determination to defend dignity and rights of every person. And it is in these moments that we must advocate for peace, not just as an abstract concept, but as an actionable and tangible goal. In both global peace movements and our local efforts, we have made significant strides, especially here at UPF. This is one year where I'm really happy about some of the things that we have achieved to make a difference. The expansion of peace, education, community-based initiatives, and advocacy networks gives me hope. I have seen firsthand how communities that once were divided, once were divided by fear and hatred can be transformed through dialogue, education, and commitment to inclusivity. I have witnessed how the simple act of creating a safe space, whether for women or young people or marginalized communities, can have a ripple effect, inspiring others to do the same. But our work is far from done. As we commemorate Peace Day, let us not only reflect on how far we've come, but also recommit ourselves to the work that lies ahead. Whether it is teaching, the next generation to value empathy, advocating for protection of the vulnerable, or addressing systematic injustices that perpetuate conflict. Each of us has a role to play in building a peaceful world. I'm honored to be part of this UPF movement, and together we are not only witnesses to change, but we are the change. So each one of us can and will make a difference by every small act that you do. Thank you. Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry. And just before I go, sorry, Margaret, I know we have a lot of peace ambassadors in the room, and sometimes we need to reflect on why we've been made peace ambassadors and what we have been awarded, that honor to do, So when it comes to a role of a peace ambassador, we are representatives out there. We can make a difference, and we have to make a difference. We have responsibilities for conflict resolution and mediation, because sometimes we think global ambassadors, we have no power. Yes, we do. We can speak up and make a difference, right? We can negotiate to settle disputes. We can advocate for awareness and change, right? Also, community engagement. This is a good one for me because part of our women's group here, we have been writing letters to our MPs, each one of us within the group, to try and raise awareness about the increase in violence against women. All these things we can do as ambassadors of peace. And I think we should send this out to people so people are aware of what we do. So we are the role models. So when we go out there as ambassadors of peace, we can make a difference. We can make a change. And we're all in this to win it. Thank you.
I think every organization, every group of people, we have strengths and weaknesses. And one strength that UPF has is actually we can form partnerships and work together on various issues. And particularly at various times, certain things are more prominent than others. But just think about how we can work together about different issues and different important things that need to be tackled. I'd like to invite Margaret, as Hilda was saying before, we're co-leaders or co-workers. So Margaret is going to take over and inviting you up to speak.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see you all. But I have a friend, and I live near this friend. And she's a very special person. She cares for people. She actually does many things in her spare time. But also she's Ambassador for Peace. My friend Bahwana, I invite her to speak a few words about peace. Bahwana.
Hi everyone out here. I'm Bhavna. I would not like to talk about what exactly I have achieved in life. The most important thing I would like to highlight here is the leadership of Margaret. I have been working for my charity in India, which is Welfare Foundation, for my parents' legacy. But getting an award as an Ambassador of Peace here in 2017 from Margaret and Robin, it gave me more responsibility to stand by and to actually authenticate what exactly Ambassador of Peace means to us. The most important integral values which we saw in the video in order to facilitate peace and happiness, it is very important for us to work in a very collective spirit. This is what we talk about. And it also mentions about character building and reconciliation. So as so many people have already highlighted what actually requires for the peace, it begins from us. The charity begins from within. So it is very important for us to be at peace in order to do something for the community and to achieve our visions and goals in life. I have multiple CABs. I'm a board with multiple international organizations facilitating and collaborating people and working on the SDG 7, which is all about partnership and bilateral movement, bringing people together, bringing organizations together, building community, being a community champion in the Richmond. There is so much to do. It is not one thing. And what I am totally focusing at the moment is on myself. How exactly I'm keeping my mind absolutely at peace so that I'm able to work hard, I'm able to contribute. Whatever I desire as an ambassador of peace, I'm able to bestow to the world back. And that can only happen when we learn under the leadership of people like Margaret and Robin and many people out here. And that's what I desire to do, learn from you, and whatever I have learned for 20 years, share with you as a knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have a sheikh within our circle. He sits on the back. and I would like to invite him to say a few words, but I would also like you to say a few words, anybody that wants to. That will come after Sheikh. Sheikh, it's too many pages. It's too many pages.
No, I'll go to 2 in 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Can you get me? Yes. When the Sheikh comes, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen. When the Sheikh comes, I always say, Sheikh, can we be quiet? Can you do it a little smaller? But with the 1 minute, I can take a whole world upside down. No, this is important. My job is I'm a presenter. However, happy world peace, peace day to all. And of course, I would like to add, my brother and sister, I would like to add 1 or 2 facts of this world or world of the peace. 7 years conflict has led to Yemen being the world's largest humanitarian disaster, war between Saudi and Iran. South Sudan, years of civil war have led to a humanitarian crisis in South Sudan, with nearly 400,000 people dying as a result of conflict and 28 million people dispersed here and there. Middle East and North Africa, these are a fact. You can Google it. The region is experiencing more than 45 armed conflicts, including Cyprus, Egypt, Iraq, Israel, Libya, Morocco, Palestine, Syria, Turkey, Yemen, and Western Sahara. Thousands of innocent mothers and children been killed, raped, and dying as a result of millions injured, surge of refugees. Afghanistan, flood, famine, civil war. Many thousand died, children and old, injured, surge of refugees. War in Russia and Ukraine. Many thousands have been injured and died. Millions homeless, surge of refugees. Bangladesh, flood, disaster, kill, injury. Rohingya, disaster, diseases, war, rape, killings. You name it. Genocide, 3 million refugees in a no man's land. War in Kashmir and India. Kashmir becoming a big concentration camp by India. Raping, killing, burning, genocide, which I'm trying to bring it to this country, to UK Parliament. Genocide in unbelievable scale. 80,000 been killed and raped. Torture. Over 50 countries, my brothers and sisters, over 50 countries around the world are in war or civil war. And the rest of the third world war countries are in famine, disease, misery, and slavery. United Nations, as our brother said, of course, many staff have been killed in current wars, unable to do anything, any help. UN has been silenced by criminals. ICD, ICJ, International Criminal Court, are doing nothing but talk, not able to implement anything. The world has been looted by the professional criminals, at the top of the countries. Law of the jungle. The democratic countries, instead of being mediator for peace, selling arms only to kill. Millions are trapped in the modern slavery. Millions, multi-millions. The big question is, my brothers and sisters, is there any human right? Is there any world peace? Is there any day of peace? I rest my case. Happy World Peace Day.
Excellent. I would like to I'm seeing some old friends as well there today. I'm meeting many people that I knew from before. So if you would like to say something, we will look at it. Number two is I want to really introduce to you a person who has a group of peace, isn't it? Dr. Tuesday? Yes? Do you want to say a few words about your peace work? Just a few words, because I know you have a lot to say, but I didn't know you were coming. I'm sorry. Please, give me your hand. I've read about his work a little bit.
I'm very sorry. You see, actually, I'm not well. I've been ill, for a long time. There are a lot of things to say which have already been said, actually. What I believe, you see, that we cannot bring the peace. No way. This is what I believe. From the existence of this world, story starts from Adam to Eve, first fight, and we are still fighting. But we can bring the peace within ourselves. And once we are succeeded in this, we can bring the peace to our neighbors, to our families. I joined this organization, I think it's around 2007, I believe, 8. And I have noticed that I haven't seen many faces from the local community, the British community. If you see, you can't even have a 1% in this hall at this today. We should try to bring them in. They also need peace. It's not that we people need the peace, they need the peace as well. One thing which I tell you, that we should organize within ourselves, with this small community. We should go to the schools, British schools, go to the colleges, go to the universities, meet the unions over there, and organize small committees there with the young students. They are studying in schools and universities, and teach them to come out for the peace. We can start from small colleges around us, schools around us, and within this building we should make a program where we can, continue this mission. And I noticed during my recent visits, because I started after a long time, that we should have not a formal meeting or informal meeting, we should have a formal meeting as well. Because everyone who is here, they are here to contribute. And that's why they are here. So why not we should have, some sort of, meeting which we can participate, all of us, one by one, and give our views, and also suggest the things, how we can bring other people in. I think that's enough for today. I'll do it some other time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to say something, and this lady doesn't know I'm going to say it. Melissa, she can sing a song of peace. Think about it a little bit. And after a few people, can you sing? She's a great singer. Yeah. The first person I saw the hand is this gentleman, but I don't know your name. What is your name, please? Okay. Please, let's be brief.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Eyitayo Adegun. I'm a filmmaker and entertainment and media law consultant. Moreover, I'm a peace ambassador twofold for Universal Peace Federation lately and for the World Citizen Peace. So it's double-barreled peace ambassador. In the world today, there are 56 conflicts, international conflicts, and this involves 96 countries from the back, in one way or the other. These are stakeholders either wanting to sell their arms or wanting to say, keep going, and on broadcast, they say, stop the war. And it's high time we just made up our minds that all we are saying here may not go beyond here tonight, but every little counts, like that slogan from Tesco. And the thing is, it should start from home. What mien, what semblance, what outlook do you give to your children back home? Is it of peace? What about your partner, your wife or husband? What would your children say behind your back? Or what would they gossip about when they leave both of you? They are at it again. Mom and dad throwing things at each other. Peace begins with us, in our homes. Like my brother has said, it begins within the community, within the neighborhood. I always remember something, and I remind my partner, anytime there is any problem with our neighbor, I said, look, we are going to live here for a long time. If we are not friendly with our neighbor, if there was a fire or something else, and they could help, they might just turn their backs and say, they don't talk to us. And we are going to live with them next door. We need to get off our high horses and use peace as our watchword. It's a lot cheaper than war. It doesn't even cost you anything. And what is peace synonymous with? Love. Let us love one another. Let us make that our watchword. I won't, without much ado, the time is far spent. Thank you very much.
Hello, Davincha. 1 minute. Davincha, you want to say a few words? She's come from far, from Bristol. Lovely. You make kiss.
Bless you. Hi, blessings.
Yes. Thank you.
It's a surprise. You know, I've been traveling since 3:30 to get here. And when I got to where the coach was, it was delayed over an hour. And there was some accident, but I was determined. The taxi driver dropped me off. I couldn't see anybody going out. And he said, oh, don't bother to go in. I think they've all gone. And but I'm glad you ran over time. Peace is important. And I came just on the back of somebody saying, it starts with us. And it starts with peaceful hearts and peaceful thoughts. And I'm just so glad for this organization. I'm glad for Papa Moon. I'm glad for the vision. I'm glad that the children and all of us as ambassadors is taking the vision on. I don't know how many people heard the news that 3 days ago, a young 25-year-old man was stabbed. And they just sent me the photograph, you know. Quick, come with your peacemakers, because we are called peacemakers. Come with your peace patrols. And I looked at the picture, and there was this Gambian guy just laid out that just put a knife in, and as he took it out, the knife, all his guts was on the floor. And I think, what could we do as peacemakers? In the next day, we called for an appeal and did a peace prayer to bring all different, because the person who did it was of a Kurdish, but it didn't matter. What I said was, it doesn't matter what nationality did this, or what nationality died. It was that life is important. And I think people forget that life is important. But life won't be important until it's lived in peace, not pieces. And it starts with us. And what was wonderful is was only about 10 Christians, if you could, but it was Muhammad's birthday. On Sunday, they were celebrating, and we had 150 Muslims join us, and imams and I, in praying together. And I just thought, look at that. This is, wasn't that Father Moon's dream?
Yes, absolutely.
And it was just amazing to see that. We can make a difference. We are making a difference. And I'm so grateful for today, Universal Day, this International Day of Peace, that I managed to get here to come into this place and feel the peace, because I wasn't feeling peace really in the taxi coming, and I just came in about 5 minutes ago, but I can feel the peace here.
Woman.
So thank you very much.
I love you.
Thank you.
Coming all the way, I know, from Bristol, I didn't want to miss you. But I would like to invite people, but please be brief, because I want the singing lady to come. Ms. Rasif, do you want to say a few words? And also, I seen 1, 2 there, yes? And 3, and 4, and 5. But, I will push you if you are too far.
Definitely. Assalamu alaikum. I'm really happy to come again in front of you, all UPF family members on this special day, Cultivate a Culture of Peace, United Nations. As ambassador, according to me, Cultivate of Cultures is aimed to promote non-violence, set of values, respect the peoples to each other, even in the religions. My question is that, how to cultivate the culture of peace? Mostly the people know, but according to me, we can be respect to each other. We can set some values and caring, loving, and understand the religions. Even religions have a most important in the peace, because religions have the same basic message to all humans: need for love, compassion for honesty, compassion for justice, honesty for contentment. Thank you. Just this was I will. And one more thing, I'm really agree with the UPF organization, because they have the big role in the United Nations, because they always stand for the keep peace missions, and they have keep all religions for the unity and stay peace in the one beautiful tree. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to ask the two ladies to come together, so we don't have to waste time. You come after her? Huh? Pardon? No, just come. I don't want to waste time. Because we're over time already. This is my old friend. How nice to see you.
It's wonderful to be here.
You look younger.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. And
there's an English woman. Hello. Hello, Tisti. The English woman.
A privilege to be here, truly. A long journey took me. I just want to say I'm part of something called Global Gathering of Champions. And one of the things we are doing is for peace. And there's an initiative to have children sing for peace. And it's going as far as the United Nations. That's where we're taking it.
Lovely.
And the idea came from the leader of the Global Gathering of Champions, Geneva, and he said this, you know what, if children can sing peace songs, what if the children of the leaders of the world are singing those peace songs in their families? The leaders are not going to be able to ignore them, right? So we've got a big mission for that.
That's great.
I also want to talk about Raleigh very quickly. He's a very interesting young man and an up-and-coming author, and he has written a book called Ottilie Rose. And what it is, it's an examination of what it means to be human. It's incredible. And I'm, on a bit of a mission to help him promote it. But I was looking at my own certificate of being an ambassador for peace just literally a couple of days ago and saying, what does it actually mean? And I am thrilled beyond belief to be here, to hear that there's an initiative. How can we really be those ambassadors of peace? And I'm up for that, definitely. So thank you very much, everyone.
God bless. You still the same place? You can go there. Quickly. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, by the way, you didn't introduce yourself.
Stand up and introduce yourself.
You. Tell your name.
Yes, you said Maria Butcher. Maria Butcher. Yeah, there you are.
Good evening, everyone.
Name.
My name is Cristina Russo. I'm the founder of Hummus for Change, a social enterprise based in London. In 2020, during COVID, I decided to launch an international magazine and social enterprise. I call this organization Hummus for Change because hummus, to me, represent the soil where all different materials come together to preserve the ecosystem. I always consider myself a human rights activist, and after my dad passed away in 2010, I realized the power of entrepreneurship, for global peace. Entrepreneurship to me means freedom, self-sufficiency, financial inclusion, and decolonization. In the past 2 years, I've been providing a free leadership program to empower responsible leaders around the world who want to contribute to their communities with ideas, skills, and projects. I believe that in order to create peace, we need to share strategies and solutions to address global issues. At Hummus for Change, we connect leaders, academic researchers, international students, and innovators to fill the communication gaps amongst industries. We are in the process of developing an app to manage global environmental resources more sustainably, ethically, responsibly, for resource accessibility, human rights protection, and international sustainable development. So I hope that, in a few years' time, we'll be able, to say, different words and, share, our resources. And I think that, today is a proof that, we have, lots of resources to share and, the power to transform our challenges into resources. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Asif Hanif. I'm an ambassador of peace. Should I tell you something? What is different about the ambassador of peace? It is not something that you have done. It is something that you have show your commitment to. Now we are talking about the peace. I'm a student of international relations. Lots of theories and all these kind of things. The conflicts are discussing after the Second World War. More than 40 countries have been carved and more than a dozen conflicts are still going on. The conflict that starts from an individual. The peace is about, on a human being. within a man, within a woman, then a family, then a neighborhood, then a locality, and then a city, and then a country. So what we really need to do we really need to focus on ourselves, whatever we can do it within our capacity, and it change somebody's life, that will multiply itself, and then that will go much more far than the words have been spoken. I'm telling you, right away under this roof, somebody need a peace. The peace does not mean that somebody is not happy. The peace does not mean that somebody is away from the family. The peace means somebody is running short of life. Are we aware? Do we know? Or do we consider it's not difficult? It's going to be easy if the walk talks than the walk. And wherever we are, focus indiscriminately, without the gender, without the color. Whatever you feel being a human, do it. Because then, who have the answer for peace? Muslims? Christians? Jews? Hindus? Sikh? Parsi? And who? Human. And a God has created. Let's be that human. Thank you very much.
Greetings, everyone. Delighted to be here. Was invited by Ambassador Yvette. Thank you for inviting me. I am Crown Prince, first Jamaican to be Crown Prince in Nigeria. And immediately after that happened, I just swing in action. I started a foundation in Nigeria. The government approved it. I had two, what you call the keke. So it give back to the elderly and the children. And trying to see what can be done. We're doing farming for the children. We can do lunch and breakfast. And we're doing black by black. So it's going to be in the Igbo side and the Yoruba side and the Hausa side. So I want to bring peace as well. And also I'm an ambassador for the Maroon in Jamaica. So I know sometimes it kind of look rough here and there, because sometimes they come into our territory, but I try to bring peace in it. And I just want to do a little song for you. You were talking and I see that passion. And I sing for those that are suffering and going through what they're going through. Even on broken pieces, I will make it to shore. The storm cloud may rise and the billow may roll. But put your faith in God and you will make it for sure. 'Cause even on broken pieces, you will make it for sure. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Queen Nafisa Abdullahi. I am a model and aspiring diplomat and the founder of the Ejura Charity Foundation, a charity organization I founded in memory of my late beloved parents. I have always been passionate about charity and making a positive impact. And when I arrived in the United Kingdom for my master's degree, I was looking for an organization that aligns with my values and my visions, and then I found UPF. I connected with UPF and I was warmly welcomed by a 77-year-old beautiful, lovely woman, Margaret Ali. Her smile is contagious and you can see the beauty of her soul through her eyes. She, alongside Robin Marsh, Lona Mara, Joycey, and everyone in UPF has welcomed me and has shown me love. Today we are gathered to talk about peace, and I would like to share my little experience. After the loss of my parents, I suffered from grief, sadness, and depression. I always look for peace and happiness from other people, or just hoping that someone or somewhere I will find peace. But as time went by, I realized that true peace begins from oneself, and it is only when you're at peace with yourself you can extend peace to another person or to the nation worldwide. And yes, I am Muslim, and my faith has really played a vital role in cultivating peace. And personally, I would say peace begins with gratitude, cultivating the habits of being grateful to your Creator and acknowledging the blessings of God in your life. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, UPF. I so much love you.
You say she's 57, not a 77. Everybody remember, 57. 77. No.
Good evening, everyone. So I'll just make this quick. My name is Ambassador Yvette Filbert. I am also a humanitarian person, working with WOPE at the moment, with the World Organization for Peace and Equity. I gave a few words here, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, when I spoke about the project that we started in Nigeria to feed the orphans and the widows. And that is still going on, and I praise and thank God for all of those who have been showing us. This year, we were part of a group of people who were fundraising for Rebecca Teptegei, the Ugandan athlete. So you can imagine the horror to wake up the day to hear the news of what had happened to her. For us who were part of that fundraising effort, we felt absolutely cold and helpless. But by coming together, like I said, it has no boundaries, no color, no race, no religion. And I'd like to say that it was good to hear of the UPF's new initiative to look at how we can look at changing our government's role in looking at gender-based violence, especially around women. There is currently a petition already started 2 weeks ago. I will share it with the UPF management. And so I just want to say, just look out for it, and thank you so much for being peace ambassadors. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Marisa Di Muro. I am a soprano singer and a voice coach. Thank you, Margaret and Robin, for inviting me. I wasn't expecting to come up here. But just like to say, how do we get to achieve peace? Just 2 words. I know I sing as well. I think we need to start, if we can learn to forgive, then we can achieve peace. And to put aside our big egos, which unfortunately come in a lot in our lives, even when we think we might have controlled them. So this is a very simple message. Did not prepare anything, but those are my few words. And Margaret has asked me to sing, but I want Margaret and Robin to be on the stage here with me, because without them, we would not all be here. So I want you to hold my hand. Here.
No, yeah. No, you sing here. You're not going to sing here?
No, I'll just
you
sing.
Don't, yeah, she's got...
I can manage.
you at peace? You know what? Every time we bring people together here in this room, we are creating peace. That means look at your neighbor. She might be wearing red turban or something. But who is she? She's like you. She's like me. Give love to each other and appreciate each other. I appreciate you, but I'm sorry that she wants to speak. But the thing is, if you want to make peace, you bring people together. And Mr. Chisti is very, very correct that you should bring people that want to make peace. And you have like weekly or monthly something here. How can we teach peace to our children? Our generation, it's gone. We couldn't create peace except internally, except by loving someone, by caring for someone. And it's not always the war. If these people were normal and happy, they would not make war. Yeah. So therefore, we have to bring people together to really understand one another, to know that, like my Indian friend is as good as me, as better than me, or learn from each other. That's the peace for me. If I can make a little help to somebody in my day, I'm happy. If I make somebody upset, I am unhappy. This is the situation. You have to really be opening your heart and saying, sorry if you did something wrong, and saying, can you come? Let's work together. So UPF's purpose is to bring people together that can bring peace and harmony and togetherness. That's why we have partnerships, isn't it? Yes. Isn't it, Justina? Yeah. So we must thank this wonderful woman.
I want to wish everyone a peaceful evening and a peaceful life.
Yay.
Why not? Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry if I missed you people, but you can tell me what you wanted to say.
Thank you so much for all the contributions, the fellowship, the friendship, and it doesn't end. So let's keep building. I want to mention Actor Dinata is a trustee of UPF-UK. She also has a raffle that she would like to promote. Do you want to say something?
Say earlier on you heard a lady talking about fundraising effort. This is music to my ear. That is what we were trying to find a way of to do fundraising, so we will have money to do a lot of projects that UPF is supporting and to make it a success. For that reason, we created silent raffle some time ago, and we given a length of time to achieve the target that we set up for. Because the item we have is always very valuable and is really good for people that they think they can make use of it. But the main thing is your money. The main thing is your generosity to make sure that you got your ticket. Maybe for a ticket of £1, £2, or even £5, you get an item which is worth it 50, 60 quid. So it's well worth it. And always at this gathering like that, at the end everybody gets distracted to take photo after photo after photo. Fundraising is more important. I will be sitting in this corner and I will have some more raffle tickets. Earlier on, the gentleman asked me at the reception that I wanted to throw away my ticket away because I bought it some time ago. I haven't heard anything from you. Please do not do that because we need to pass that period. We need to have those funds coming in. We make sure that everybody have a share of it and everybody have got their ticket. For that reason, we have not withdrawn yet. But please, please, whoever hasn't got their ticket, approach me tonight. I'll be sitting here and try to get your tickets. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. You are really very idealistic and people searching for peace. You're the people who really make a difference. When I was a teenager, I always had the sense of each generation has to build on the foundation of the previous generations. And we're like baton relay runners. And we have to run as fast as we can and then hand over the baton. So we are in that kind of movement. So let's do our best while we have the chance, make the most of our lives, make the most of the time that we have, and make something great. Thank you. Have a safe journey home. We'll probably be taking a group photo. I have one other request. At the end, if we can all stack all the chairs at the back, it will save a lot of time for people who have to clear the room. Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody come forward, please. We're getting a family photo. Everybody come forward, please. Everybody. Some can sit on the chairs in front, please. If you bring a seat, our singers come and say, what's your name? Very nice voice.
Yes.
Very nice. A soprano. I'm myself. Yeah, can all the take everybody. Bring your chair as well. Some people.